there. Thanks for joining me in this new course on the blues. I'm really very excited to share it with you. And I'm so pleased to offer not only a course on the blues, but this one entitled Getting Started. This is an exciting place. It's the start of a journey. You know, it's a blank slate. It's a white canvas. It's the starting line in a long race. And I find great excitement in that concept and really building from scratch an understanding of the blues and the ability to play the blues. And indeed, by the end of this lesson, I'm going to challenge you to play a blues. Left-hand chords, right-hand melody. Interestingly, even in this very first lecture, this very first lesson in getting started with the blues, there's going to be an opportunity for you to even write a blues. So we've got a lot to unpack. I have a lot of strategies to share with you, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm excited to get started. All right, so let's dig in. This is using the first attachment. It says lesson 1.1. Feeling a 4-bar phrase is the title of this. And the only tool that you'll need other than a keyboard or a piano, if you have that at your house, is a metronome. And I'm wondering, I'm sure you've noticed that I have two of them in front of me here. This one here was my great uncle Fred's. It's an old Seth Thomas, gosh, this thing must be 100 years old. It's the kind of the classic wooden obelisk with the weight that can move to adjust the tempo. And over here we have an electronic version of it, kind of a battery-powered one. You probably have a metronome app on your phone or tablet or iPad or computer, whatever you're using. Whatever the case may be, a metronome is a metronome is a metronome. It measures beats per minute. Tangentially, even if you didn't have a metronome, if you had a wristwatch that had a second hand, or you could see an analog clock that had a second hand to it, that would give you 60 clicks per minute. Interesting. Today, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll be using this electronic metronome and setting that to 108. All of the attachments in this particular lesson are at that same tempo. And for the first bit, we'll use a metronome. And for the latter part of the lesson, we'll use a play-along that is also set to 108. Let's take a peek at this attachment. If you look at the top, it says, feeling a 4-bar phrase. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, like, gosh, this is a lesson in the blues. I want to dive in. I want to play. This is so important, but the playing is so important, but the point of me sharing this, feeling a 4-bar phrase, is crucial. It's the DNA, it's the footprint of the blues. It's the form of the blues. So, suffice it to say, you can find blues in any key, in any time signature. You can find it in many different measures, amounts of measures. Suffice it to say, for this particular lesson, and all the lessons in this particular course, we're going to stick to the key of C. We'll be in 4/4 time at a kind of a nice swinging 108 clicks per minute. And it will be within the classic, traditional 12-bar blues. Blues exists outside of these confines, but for the purposes of this course, I'm going to stick to those. So you'll see at the top of the page those 12 measures in repeat signs. And the first thing I want to share with you is I've deliberately planned those 12 measures in 3 separate lines. So we have 3 separate phrases, and each phrase is 4 bars in length. If we look closer, where I've written breathe out and breathe in, you'll notice that it's breathing out for 3 measures and breathing in for 1 measure. This exercise does not involve playing. It involves us just breathing, like you're breathing through a straw, like that. This may seem silly to you. I firmly believe that if we can feel, if we can ingest, if we can put inside of us this feeling of time going by, in measured increments, measures here, 4 beats per, and we're even going to count reps along the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, etc., 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 etc. So let's get down to it. I'll demonstrate, and then I'll ask you to do the same. I have my metronome set at 108. I've got that steady pulse. As I do this breathing exercise, as I breathe out to create a phrase, this is what we're doing, creating a phrase for 3 measures, I'm going to think inside my head those reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. So when you think about it, what's happening here is we are cultivating a cognition of where we are in the blues form. That's going to be really important when we add harmony. Where am I in this 12-bar phrase? We've already broken it down to be a little bit smaller, so it's 3 phrases of 4 each. But I want to know specifically where I am within those 12 bars. Here goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Off. I'll stop the metronome. So interesting. I would challenge you to repeat that exercise a number of times until it feels totally natural. I'm breathing out for 3, I'm breathing in for 1. I'm creating a 3-bar phrase, I'm giving it a little bit of a pause. I'm reiterating the where I am in the form, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, by counting reps all the way up to 12 and doing this again and again. It's like a mantra. It's almost like a raga. It's like something that we would say over and over and over again until that feels super natural. So I'll take a brief pause here. I will challenge you, if you want to take a pause as well, actually pause this video and go through that process, go through that exercise a number of times before moving on. That would be just great. Okay, can't wait to share more with you. All right, so let's keep going. This is the second half, the bottom half of that first sheet. I do hope you took some time and to go through that top of the page, to go through that exercise a few more times, breathing out for 3, in for 1, counting reps all the way to 12, conceptualizing what that feels like to breathe out in a 4-bar phrase, 3 4-bar iterations. That is the perfect primer for a melodic structure, which is yet to come, playing a melody with our right hand. The melody is going to resemble that. 3 4-bar phrases, a lot of sound for about 3 bars, and then a little bit of a pause before starting the next 4 bars in the same fashion. So that's yet to come. Let's get on to harmony, the bottom of the page. This deals with chords, a subject I love. So here's the basic on this. We are going to experience 3 chords when playing the blues at this sort of getting started level. C, F, and G. We're staying in the key of C. And I'm going to assign a number to them. And it's extremely logical. Even if you're not a buff of theory, if you're not a big fan of theory, this is such a logical thing. If I take the C major scale and instead, or I should say in addition to referring to each pitch by its name, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, I also want to refer to it by number. I'm going to call this number 1 because it's the first degree of the scale. This is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., etc. Since the blues is based in C, F, and G, again, I'm speaking in terms of the key of C major just for the purposes of this lecture. The blues can exist in any key. I also want to refer to those chords, C, F, and G, as 1, 4, and 5. Not only are the notes 1, 4, and 5, but as you and I, build chords, those chords will be referred to as 1, 4, and 5. Whether they be simple triads or seventh chords or even the most advanced jazz chords, we would still refer to them by their numeric base. So if you look at that sheet, you'll see above the staff is the name of the chord. That should be pretty familiar to us, C, F, and G. If you look within the staff itself, and it's in the bass clef, is the rendering of the note itself. Real basic, like if you take your left hand and put it in C position, just like this on the screen, you'll see your pinky's on C, your index finger is on F, and your thumb is on G. So those are the only three that you need. The second space is C, the fourth line is F, and the top space is G. That's 1, 4, and 5. And if you look below the staff, you'll find the numeric rendering in Roman numerals. Most of the time when in music, in theory, when we refer to an individual note or a single note, in a melodic capacity, we would use regular numbers, Arabic numbers. When referring to a chord or harmony is when we often use Roman numerals. And even though the chord isn't totally there, I haven't totally fleshed it out in this particular exercise, I am using Roman numerals because this is just the start for us, the beginning for you and I in the creation of the chords. So we'll need this left hand in C position. We'll need to be able to play a C, an F, and a G, and we'll also need the assistance of the metronome, just like we used in the first one. So I'm going to start that now. Quarter note equals 108. And as I play, I'm going to sing. We're going to go through this 3 times. The first time I sing, I'm going to sing the name of the chord, C, F, or G. The next time I sing, I'm going to sing the reps as we had said them earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. But I'm going to sing the pitch that I'm playing. And then the third time, I'm going to sing the Roman numeral 1, 4, or 5 on the pitch that I'm playing as well. So this is a little bit like juggling. We've got a lot going on here. We have a metronome that we're listening to, we have notes that we're playing, we're singing, and we're actually sort of conceiving of, or on a cerebral level, we are processing the name of the chord, the measure number in this course of 12 measures, and also the Roman numeral, or the numeric rendering of each chord. Here we go. 1, 2, singing the chords, ready, and C, 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 C. Here comes F. F, F, back to C, C. G, G, C. Saying the measure numbers. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. 12. The Roman numerals. 1, 1, 1, 1. 4, 4, 1, 1. 5, 5, 1, 1. Cool. I'll stop the metronome. I hope, just like that first example, that you will do this a number of times. It's amazing, amazing, amazing training. And I just want to tell you, this understanding of the blues, this feeling, needs to become involuntary. It needs to become natural and organic. It needs to be like walking. You know, you and I, we don't think left, right, as we're walking or when we're brushing our teeth, back, forth, backward. We're not processing this. We just do it. It's just a natural thing. And these exercises, the names of the chords, the names of the numbers, playing while you're singing, while you're processing those things, these all help to build that, to build this skill. And it will soon for you, unless it's already there, become very much kind of not in the fore. It's just, it's in the background. You know, it's something that we can process very naturally and without really thinking too much about it. So I really challenge you to go through this exercise. Lastly, I'll bring some closure to this part of the video by saying the shape of the harmonic motion can also be memorized. If you look in that Memorizing Blues Harmony section, the lower half of this sheet, just in the upper right, there's a little key. There's a little shape rendering of these three lines, each of the 4-bar phrases. And the top one is this sort of stagnant line. It's just one straight line because the chord doesn't move. That C stays the same for 4 bars. And so I've drawn a straight line. As you go to the second phrase, the second line, measures 5 through 8, it's the 4 chord and then it goes to the 1 chord. So that has a certain feel to it. What this sounds like falling down to here, and a certain contour to it. And also, additionally, on that third iteration of the 4 bars, this is measures 9 through 12, we hear this 5 going to 1, and that has a certain shape as well. So if that helps you learn as well, add that to the party. You know, I think looking at this picture in as many ways as possible is beneficial. So I can't wait. We're just starting this journey. I can't wait to share with you some melody, some harmony, and get us up and playing a blues. So in this section of the video, we're going to talk about dominant chords. And these are the chords that we're going to use in the blues. Now, in the exercise that we just did, we sort of were listening for the root of each of the chords. But in this particular exercise, and I hope that you'll take a peek at that attachment 1.2, we'll take a look at the construction of the chord itself. And again, these are called dominant chords. So they are a triad with a 7th. They're 7th chords. So really a delicious, wonderful, delightful sound. And we will build a dominant chord on C, and we'll build one on F, and we'll build one on G. So it's the same chord. It's a major triad with a flatted 7th or a lowered 7th. All of them are the same, the C, the F, and the G. So let's take a peek at the 3 ways that I would encourage you to think about chord construction. The first one is using half steps. This works every time. Find a note anywhere on the keyboard. For the purposes of this lecture, we're limiting it to C, F, and G. But this can work anywhere on the keyboard. And measure up in half steps. Up 4 half steps, then 3, and then 3. 4, 3, 3. That formula. Let's do it together. Take a look at the top of the page. The first one is C. You'll notice that the C on the screen and on your paper, the lowest tone has been colored in. And I'll play it in both the G clef and also in the F clef as it's printed there. So 4, 3, 3. Here I am at C, and I'm going to go up 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go up 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll go up 3 more half steps, 1, 2, 3. And there is the C7 chord. What a great sound. Oh, it's so great. Amazing. Let's do it on F. That's the next one over. 4, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. F7 is F, A, C, and E flat. Amazing. Same sound, right? Let's do it on G. Notice the G is colored in, starting on G, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3, 1, 2, 3, up 3 more, 1, 2, 3. G7 is G, B, D, and F. So these may feel differently. The C7 and the F7 feel the same because of the white, 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 black structure. The G7 feels differently, but the math is the same, folks. It's 4 half steps followed by 3 half steps followed by 3 half steps. We've just explored C, F, and G. Suffice it to say it will work anywhere on the keyboard. So, first strategy, measuring in half steps to create a dominant chord. Let's go to another strategy. This one is maybe assuming that you already know how to play a C triad or an F triad or a G triad. Let's assume that you do. If I started with the knowledge of a C triad, all I have to do here is add the octave and then descend by half steps. The octave is 8, right? Oct is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a C triad with the octave, and if I go down a half step, that's 7. And if I go down another half step, that's the lowered 7th or the flat 7. Notice, there's the C7. Same answer as we had in the top strategy. It's the same thing. Let's do it on F. Let's assume you know how to play an F major triad. Here it is. Add the octave, the low F, high F, go down a half step, that's 7. Go down another half step, that's flat 7. There's F7, or F dominant 7, as it is sometimes referred. Let's do the last one. Here's G. Assuming you know how to play a G triad, add the octave, there's 8. Down a half step, down another half step, right? 8, that's 7, that's flat 7, and there's your G7 chord. Yet another way to solve for a dominant chord. Start with a triad, go way up to the octave, and then go down a half step for 7 and down another half step for flat 7. There's a third strategy I want to share with you, and that is maybe you have some knowledge of the major scale already, the major scales already. So assuming you knew how to play the C major scale or the F major scale or the G major scale, there's another way that we can do it, which is we can extrapolate from that. We can take from that the first, third, fifth, and 7th degrees of the scale, as long as we take this extra step, this last step, which is to take the 7 and to lower that a half step so that we have flat 7, this lowered 7. That's the sound of a dominant chord. Let's try it. The first one is C major. C major scale. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. I'm taking those away. I'm going to keep those for the chord, and I'm going to lower the 7th a half step. There's C7. Amazing. Let's do the F major scale. I'll use my left hand this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lower the 7th. Bingo. There's your F7. And lastly, G major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lower the 7th. And there's your G7. So I hope that of those 3 strategies, I hope that at least one of them works for you. But it's entirely possible that all 3 of those resonate with you based on your background and how much you already know about music. So, to build a dominant chord, essential, C7, F7, G7. I hope you'll take a pause here, go through that sheet a few times, memorize these. When you're ready to move on, I'm excited to do more with you. All right, so let's keep going. This is so exciting. Right now, we are going to play a blues. Love it, love it, love it. We've talked about the chords, when they change. We've trained ourselves to know when those chords change. We've talked about the construction of the chords being dominant chords. And let's prove it. Let's use this knowledge. Let's use this skill to have some fun. So the first time we're going to use the metronome here, set to 108. And I'm going to ask you to play those 3 chords using your left hand, I tend to either use my pinky, ring finger, index finger, and thumb. That tends to be the most comfortable for me. Some people prescribe the pinky, the middle finger, their index finger, and the thumb, whatever's most comfortable for you. But I will say this, that navigating between those chords in real time, for us as pianists, using the pedal is a real asset. So notice this, when I'm stepping down on the pedal, it's holding that sound, it's holding the C7. So it enables me to get my hand over the F chord and then bang, I can strike when that F chord changes, when the C chord changes to F. And the same thing in reverse, holding it down and then bang, hitting the C chord when that happens. And the same for the G chord. Remember to refresh the pedal when you're changing chords. Lift up very, very briefly and then bring the pedal back down so that it doesn't all blur together. So this is it. I can't wait. I gotta have some fun. We are going to play those chords. We're gonna sing the chord names. We're gonna sing the measure numbers. We're gonna sing the Roman numerals so that we have all of these processes happening again and again and again and again until those are super, super, super natural. So here we go, setting our metronome to 108. There we go. Hand in C7 position, and we'll start at the top. This is 3 times through, 3 times. 1, 2, a 1, 2, here we go. C7, 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 pedal down, go into F. F7, F7, pedal down, go into C. C7, C7, pedal down, go into G. G7, G7, pedal down, go into C. C7, C7, measure numbers with reps. Here we go. A 1, 2, 3, 4. A 2, 2, 3, 4. A 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. 12. Roman numerals. 1, 1, 1, 7, 1, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 1, 7, 1, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 1, 7, 1, 7, and I'll stop the metronome there. So as silly as that may sound, or as silly as that may seem, this is it. This is the last step for you and I. These are the training wheels. We're going to take the training wheels off after this and start to add a melody. But I challenge you all along the way, to keep those meters, to keep those gears running in your head. Where am I in the form? What chord am I playing? When does the chord change? However your memory works best, but make sure that you're sort of aware of all of those things at the same time. The more you ask your brain to be aware of those things, the sooner that will become a part of your long-term memory, and this playing of the blues will just feel super organic, super natural. It'll be like walking or brushing your teeth or breathing. It just will seem so natural. Let's go on with this exact sheet, this 1.3, but this time let's use the play along that's there, okay? So here comes the play along. You'll hear 2 measures count in of a cowbell, and then we'll have this opportunity to play with a bass player and a drummer.